Hey, it's guys, welcome back to another Sports Stuff podcast. Again, this is our second episode. I'm Nick, and I'm here with Aaron. What's up, Aaron?
Yep,
Oh man, what a fun weekend of football.
it was crazy.
It's it was interesting. I didn't watch any of the primetime games because they all sucked, and I'm sick of
Yeah,
bad primetime games.
yeah. No, I watched a few of the prime time. Mostly, I was watching highlights this week though, and going through stuff. But I watched a few of them. I watched the Bears and Packers game. That's my homer team. But
hmm
I did watch a few of the highlights of those other prime time.
I couldn't bear myself to watch Saints Buccaneers. I regret it. I do regret it. It's same thing. Dallas and Colts. I just couldn't bear to watch it. I'm like, I'm not watching this garbage game, and it turned out to be a good game. But
Yeah.
all right, let's
You,
talk about. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Let's talk about Thursday night football. Going over this last week's games, we had Buffalo over New England, 24-10. I feel like that was just a basic pummeling by
That's what we
by the
talked about.
Bills.
I mean, yeah, it was what we talked about going into the game. We thought New England would be able to keep it close. In some parts, they did, but ultimately the Bills reigned on top, and so that's kind of what me and you predicted earlier this week or last week.
Oh, let me actually pull that up. Let me go playoff. Oh wait, I have the thing somewhere. I actually want to pull that up and see what my prediction was to compare to the actual win. Where is it? I have it. Week 13. There it is. Awesome. So I actually had the Bills over the Patriots. So I'm happy I was right about that. I'm sure you did as well because it's pretty
Of
easy,
course.
easy game to predict. Then with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Falcons, I actually had the Falcons winning, and I was wrong. I was wrong.
I can't remember what my official take was. I don't want someone coming in and yelling at me, but I thought coming into the Sunday's game, I thought Pittsburgh would be able to hold it out.
I
And
think you had the Steelers. I think you did.
I I can't remember 100%, but I really like Mike Tomlin as a coach. He doesn't have a good team this year. He's in a rebuild, but I thought that they were the better team than Atlanta coming into this game.
I saw it. I just wanted the Steelers to lose, so I will always pick against
I
them if
mean,
I
Browns fan,
can.
that's fine.
And especially this year with how close the division is, I need them to lose. Speaking of our division not losing, the Ravens beat the Broncos, which I did predict. I did
In
predict that
the
one,
most trash game.
dude.
How,
Again, I
how
happy
did
to watch that game.
well, I'm kind of sad I didn't because it would have been hilarious to watch Russell Wilson try to stop Baltimore without Lamar Jackson, without the most dynamic player, honestly probably one of the only offensive players Baltimore has that's that dynamic.
Is the only. There
And
is no one else. He
yeah,
is the only.
and how do you not pull that out? It, they need to fire their coach. There's no question. He should be fired this week. Why are you waiting?
Yeah, I think this was the game that the owners were like, all right, we're done. We're done. Just because if it isn't, I don't know what it's gonna take for these owners to be like, yeah, we gotta move on.
They might be waiting till the end of the season, but I don't think at this point you need to get him out of there.
Yeah, he's just
Don't let
you're
him be the
wasting
voice of
time.
the room.
Yeah, you're wasting
Yeah.
time. Next up is the Packers and the Bears. I had the Packers winning, but I said if the Bears were healthy, I believe in them. Sadly, I was wrong still.
They they were healthy at quarterback. Justin Fields was really dynamic. He had a 60. I even texted you when he did
Mm-hmm.
it. He had a 56-yard run that was just beautiful. He had a few deep throws that were beautiful as well. We suck at finishing. There's part of me that are wondering if we're purposely losing some of these games to get a higher draft pick. I know that's illegal, but when you're up seven by quite a bit of possessions, I forget what it was. I think it was 17 to
It was
something.
18. It was 18 unanswered in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, when you're up by that, well, the Bears had the lead going
It was not.
into the fourth quarter
It
though.
was 19-10. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was 19-10.
19-10. When you have up two possessions against Aaron Rodgers and you can't close that out, you need to do better as a team. But we're
I'm.
now currently the number two draft pick below the Texans, so
That's
that's
awesome.
exciting.
That's a trade back. That's a trade back
Yeah.
spot. Because as we'll talk later, there's definitely two quarterbacks who should go 1 and 2. Uh,
Mhm.
Next is The Lions and the Jaguars, which I'm happy I chose the Lions. But 40? Is this like
I'm
the?
surprised.
I mean, they were
I mean,
they were this good at the beginning of the season, and then just stopped, and all of a sudden
yeah,
scored 40 again.
no, I am completely bamboozled by it. I did not expect the Lions whatsoever to pull off a 40 bomb on what's been a pretty good Jacksonville team this year. Like they've not been great by any means, but they've not been embarrassed like this to my knowledge yet this season. And I mean, even Trevor Lawrence didn't have a bad game. He didn't have any picks. He didn't have any. It's just they missed on some key opportunities that left them out of this game. Go Lions though. I mean, they're still in that playoff hunt. So
Thank God. I'm. I need one of these teams. I had a bold hot take. I need one of them to go through. I just need one. The Broncos ain't gonna help me out. It's got to be the Lions. Next is the Browns and Houston. I picked the Browns because I'm a Browner, and like that's a game I did feel like we
I
could
picked the
win.
Browns too.
It's a game I think we could. I thought we could win, but not in the way we won. Defense lights out. Special teams lights out. Offense turn the lights out.
Yeah. Uh, Deshaun Watson showed. I didn't think he was going to be that rusty.
Yeah,
He
that's
did
what
not look.
scares me.
That was scary. To the point of like, I really hope he starts for your guys' sake, not for him. I could care less about him, but for the Browns' sake, that he can start working that out. Because, dear Lord, if he can't start shaking that off, you guys traded your complete future away for him. That's gonna look bad for a number of years if you guys can't figure that out.
Yeah, I don't want to
Not
get.
to mention your moral character, like
Yeah.
you made a deal with the devil to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't want to get too into it right here, but I will say there's a big Browns YouTuber who does film breakdown, and he broke down his film, and he was saying that Deshaun Watson looked so bad against the blitz. Everything else he was fine, but whenever they blitzed him, it was bad. Like he was throwing him
Yep.
into the ground, and he's like, if he could fix that, he'll be serviceable this year. But it's like,
Yeah.
if he doesn't fix that, we're screwed. Which I completely
Yeah,
agree.
100%. Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit more. Like you said, we won't do a deep dive yet. But when you look at Andrew Luck, even Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, when they're first coming off injuries, they're favoring that whatever they injured, their
Hmm.
leg, arm, shoulder, down. They're gonna favor that part of them that got hurt. And so I think you saw that with. I think he was a little scared of getting hit, and it's not a good sign from your quarterback. You want to make sure that he's fearless. But
Yeah.
we'll get into it a little bit more later. But
Then we got the Vikings and the Jets, which was a terrifying game in the fourth quarter. Like
dude,
I picked the Vikings, but man, that was Mike White.
I'm really glad the Vikings pulled that off. I just called them the number one team in the NFL last week. I could not have them lose to the New York Jets and not look like a complete fool this week. So thank you, Minnesota Vikings, on a path of a Bears fan. You saved me from looking like a complete fool. I mean, the New York's a good team this year. It's not the New York Jets of the past, but still, that would have been a tough one to pass off.
Yeah, and again, that's another team that I thought would win like 4 games max, and now they're at 10 wins or something. Another
Yeah.
bad hot take I had to get in the season, which is not good. Next is the tie, Washington and New York. I
Both
I
should win.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought it was a tie, so I thought the Giants would have won. So
Yeah, no one's gonna predict a tie. Well, I'm sure someone did, because there's 7 billion on the people on the planet, someone had to think that. But Washington finished it out. New York finished it out. You guys are in a playoff spot. Fight to the end. You know, at the end of the game, they had the chance to go play for the win. The Giants did. They didn't do it. They decided to play for the tie. Don't play for the tie. You're playing for a playoff spot. Go get that win.
against a division
It's
rival.
embarrassment. Mm-hmm. It's
See,
an embarrassment.
that's a game I didn't watch the highlights. I didn't watch. I did not watch a single bit of that game, so I didn't know that the Giants just like gave up at the end and said, "All right, however much time is left on the clock,
It was
let's not risk any
it's
injuries."
obviously overtime. It would have been a Hail Mary type situation. I
Oh.
didn't watch it fully. It would have been a type of situation where it would have been a risk, but they played for going for the field goal and tying the game. Ultimately, I think they should have played for the win in that spot. You could have made a statement. I lost a lot of respect for that team and that decision.
Well,
I
Odell's
would have had
coming.
a lot more respect going for it and losing than just playing for a tie.
Well, yeah, kind of like with
You know,
the Giants and the what was his name, the other head coach that they just fired. Uh, He's a special teamer from the Patriots. Joe Judge.
Yeah, no.
Is it
Joe
Joe?
Judge, thank you.
Yeah, Joe Judge. At the end of last season, which got him fired, he at the goal line told his quarterback to sneak it.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the game, you sneak it, and so you can just punt the ball away. You don't play for punts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's
punts, you don't play for ties. Go win that football game or lose trying.
I'll say the owners and the players again paid a lot of money to go win football games.
And the fans.
And the fans, the fans in the stands. They paid money to watch a game win, not a tie. Yeah. Then the game that got a GM fired today, the Eagles and the Tennessee Titans. The Eagles got the GM fired. That's how bad of a game that the Titans played.
I don't know why a GM is fired. I mean, I would have fired their coach, but I mean,
AJ Brown, dude, that trade was terrible. It was a terrible trade.
That was a bad trade.
They should have just extended him.
Philly did what Philly does, and Tennessee did what they ultimately. I don't believe in Tennessee. Never have. I said that last week. I think they're a good team that needs a quarterback, and it showed more last week than it ever did. They have a game manager at quarterback right now. They need a game changer. Plain point to the point. They needed someone because the score tells a lie. It was not that much of a blowout. They had a chance to come into this game and make some plays and make it closer than it was. But that's where you need a game changing at quarterback. So we'll see what they do in the offseason.
Plus, when you're a running team, once you're down by 2 scores, it's over already. Like it's just straight up. As a Browns fan, when we had Jacoby Brissett, we were down by 2 touchdowns. I knew it was over. Like I'm just like, okay, well, let's at least get 1 touchdown. Yeah, barring a miracle by our defense, it's like I know already. All right, this is gonna be almost an impossible task because the Eagles are gonna throw one throw, 85-yard touchdown. We take 10 minutes to score. They take 20 seconds. So like I think the Titans are just like that right now. But once you're down by 2 scores, you're like, darn it, man. Like we gotta play for at least no one gets hurt. That's really what it is. Now, the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams. The Seahawks do pull off the win. And the Rams, they get a new quarterback. And Aaron, who's that quarterback?
I'm not sure. Who did they get?
Baker Mayfield! He was cut this morning.
He was cut. Yeah,
and he got claimed by the Rams. He's wearing number 17. Yeah, what a weird number for him to wear. But Baker Mayfield was claimed.
He didn't wear that in college.
Nope, he wore 6.
All the way through. He's just done with 6.
I guess so. But honestly, I love the fit. As much as I hate Baker Mayfield because of what he did to Cleveland, like
It was not your problem. He wasn't your pick, but he wasn't your problem.
He played through injuries even when the coaching staff told him not to. And that is well documented. That he told them, it's a contract season, I'm playing through my injury. And guess what? We went 7-10, 8-9 because of him. So I will hold it against him last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Seahawks are the Seahawks this year. They're doing really well. But I'm excited to see Baker Mayfield with the Rams. I'm very excited to see that for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. That's really cool. I think that will be a boost with an injury-prone, or not an injury-prone, but an injured quarterback. Well, he has been injured.
Yeah, injury-prone, yeah.
Well, he wasn't ever with the Lions. He was Iron Man for a number of years with the Lions. Recently, I mean, as you get older, it's just going to happen.
Well, he played through a lot of injuries.
He did.
He had that back spur thing for like 2 years, and he played well through it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Matthew Stafford. I really do, but without Matthew Stafford, this team's just they're not what they were last year. They need Matthew Stafford. There's a reason why they traded so much to get him, and you're seeing that was really a good trade, because without him, you're seeing this season what they have. And
I'm not gonna lie, I'm picking up Baker Mayfield right now. I am not gonna lie, because that reminded me to pick up Baker Mayfield. Because I'm gonna see, like, hey, if he starts next week, hey, let's see what he does. Well, let me fix my waiver wire.
Super flex position.
I'm not gonna make him start yet. I'm just gonna put Baker as the top one for a sec. All right, we good now. All right. Next up is the Miami Dolphins and the San Francisco 49ers. I
Not
did
pretty.
I did pick the Dolphins, but I think what's more
Bad
important is that
49ers.
yeah, I think what's more important is that Tua will be healthy. He could have come back in, but they kept him out of the game. It was a blowout. Like it was a blowout. Like, but I think it's very important to know that he is healthy, and Brock Purdy is him.
Yeah, dude, he looked really nice. I went and did some research this week because I talked last week about the 49ers for a little bit about being a sleeper Super Bowl pick, and I don't think that was a hot take. I think a lot of professionals have been starting to pick the 49ers.
Hmm.
Jimmy G was playing a good season. The team was there. They were looking good. Jimmy G gets hurt. Oh no, what does that mean for the 49ers? I went through Brock Purdy's. He's a good game manager, and that's what they need. That you got a bunch of talent on offense, a really good defense. Don't throw picks. Get it to Christian McCaffrey. Get it to your players, and I think they can still make a deep playoff run.
Well,
So
and
yeah, exciting game.
Apparently Jimmy it's not as bad as they thought it was. They thought it was a
Oh, I
Liz.
heard season. I heard it was done.
It was season at first. They thought it was a Liz
Yeah.
Frank injury, which
Hmm.
would have been season ending. But apparently it's a slight fracture of a foot, so he's probably not going to play for the rest of the season no matter what. But it's not a big deal that he should not have any problems going into free agency. They might activate him before let me see what there was an update today. Jimmy Garoppolo injury. Yes, could return for the playoffs. It is they're optimistic Jimmy Garoppolo could
Now,
come back for the
let
playoffs.
me ask you
Avoids
this
Liz Frank
question.
injury.
Let's say
No,
Brock Purdy goes out
you don't
all
bring him
seven
back. You don't bring him
games of the
back.
season.
I
Do
don't
you
care.
let no? If
Even
Brock Purdy has a good season,
if he has a
bring it to me.
if he throws 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, I'm still starting Brock Purdy. I don't want Jimmy on a
I
broken
don't.
foot.
Well, if it's healed, that's the key. Like if he's ready to go,
Well, it
I
won't
don't
require
want.
surgery. That's what it says. It will not require surgery. Avoids Liz Frank injury. Could return for playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what exact injury it is. So it is a broken foot, but will not require foot surgery. It is a broken foot,
So
but it is not too bad to where you need surgery. A 7 to 8 week timetable. So
well,
that's the that's the NFC Championship game. If he does come back,
I would just keep a quarterback at that point.
and I
I would
agree.
activate him as a backup, but if he's ready to go, but you don't want to throw in a guy in the AFC Championship or NFC Championship that's been on the bench for 6 weeks.
Yep.
So,
And that's my exact thing. I would also just start Purdy. Uh,
yeah.
Bengals and Chiefs. The Bengals are now 3-0 in 2022 against the Chiefs, and I chose the Chiefs. Darn it, I chose the
I
Chiefs.
think I did too, but I really liked the Bengals in this spot. And a lot of people, I heard a lot of like very popular news talk radio people this week being like, "Oh, it's going to be a blowout. Patrick Mahomes is going to have his revenge game. This is going to be this thing that implements him as the MVP of the season, hands down." And then you look up at it, and now I think Jalen Hurts moves into that top spot, and I think Joe Burrow becomes a MVP candidate. He's having similar, if not somewhat better, statistical stats that Patrick Mahomes is having. Like,
Patrick's
I think,
still on pace for nearly 6,000 passing yards.
yeah. Let me pull up his numbers though, because he is number two. So Patrick Mahomes has 3,800 yards. All
Mm-hmm.
right, crazy yard. Joe Burrow has 34. Patrick Mahomes has 30 touchdowns. Joe Burrow has 25.
What's the completion
That's
percentage? That's what I care
that's what I,
about is completion percentage. That's what my
yeah.
big thing is.
Joe Burrow has 69. Patrick Mahomes has 65.
65?
Yeah. So
Wow.
Joe Burrow has a better pass percentage. He has a rating. Patrick Mahomes has a 104, and Joe Burrow has a 103. So you're right there. I think Joe Burrow enters the MVP conversation.
I think he does.
I
I
I
agree
I
with you. I agree with you.
I, I didn't think, and then I pulled up his stats for this year, and then you pull out like if we're talking MVP, most valuable player. We'll talk later about like candidates and different things and how it's become a quarterback award, but he's been sacked 34 times. Patrick Mahomes been sacked 19. So this guy's putting up similar, almost better stats than Patrick Mahomes is, and he's been sacked double the amount.
Well,
And
I'll happily talk about how he causes half of those sacks. I'll happily talk about that in a minute.
yeah,
Because man,
but
if you
like
watch his game, it's a clean pocket and he runs into a defender. Like clean pocket, no
he tries too
problem,
hard.
and then runs into a defender. Like bro, just throw the ball, check
Yeah,
down, just do a check down.
but yeah, I think he definitely enters the MVP
I
conversation
agree.
after this week.
I didn't know how close their stats were. I
Same
didn't
here.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Other,
Patty was way ahead of everybody.
mm-mm.
Wow.
I did too, and I think he was up until this week. I think some people started closing in after this week.
Mm. Next is the Raiders and the Chargers. Chargers lost 20-27. Again, I did have the Chargers. The Raiders are making a surge, man. They're making a playoff push. I don't think we did. I mean, last week we had a playoff like buy, sell, hold stock discussion.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about the Raiders, but I would have sold. I would have sold last week. I don't think up until this week they were a playoff team, but they just beat the Chargers. And the Chargers, yes, without Mike Williams, yes, without Keenan Allen,
Yeah.
they should have a better defense. And Austin Eckler is their only offensive weapon that I trust. Obviously, Justin Herbert. I mean, like skill position. And the Raiders still
Yeah.
won. They still won. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Last week, if you would have asked me coming into this week who would I pick to go to the Super Bowl, life on it, the Raiders are the Chargers, I would 100% pick the Chargers.
mm-hmm.
After this week, I don't know. And I don't think either of them make it in at the end of the day.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's definitely it made it more interesting this week. I will say that.
I know we did the coaches hot seats. I don't remember our answers for both teams, but these are two teams that we talked about in the hot seats. I think we both said the Raiders are fine. It's like warm, but it's not hot.
Said bold. Yeah.
But Brandon Staley was like piping hot, and this doesn't help.
Yeah.
This doesn't help. Losing
No,
to a
I
team
fired him.
that's bad.
I fired him last week. I said fire him last week. After this week, get him out of there. Get him an offensive coach. Get a good offensive guru. Get someone in there that can really help your team and boost that offense.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play defense, that's fine. Go put up 50. What the Chiefs have done, that's what other teams have done. That's what you kind of need to do in the NFL nowadays. It's going a little less from a defensive gets you to a Super Bowl into an offense gets you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Go get you a nice young offensive guru from somewhere.
Yeah, sadly, those are now thin because of how offensive how offensive heavy the league is now. Then the last game on Sunday was the Dallas Indianapolis Colts. I said earlier before we started I didn't watch a single one of these primetime games, and I do regret not watching this one because man, 33 points in the fourth quarter is insane.
Yeah, it is.
But
yeah, it was a crazy game.
yeah, I mean, I there's not much to talk about. Again, I didn't watch it. I had no interest in it up until I watched on Twitter. What was it? It was the Matt Ryan fumble, whatever one that was. But it was his very last fumble, and just like the look on Dak's face was like, bro, that's messed up.
Yeah, no, the Colts. It's the score is a little deceiving. I will say that I did watch the highlights of this game. The Colts were in it until the second half. They really did play a good game. I think it was definitely a case of coach in a bad spot. I mean, you got a first-year head coach in a spot where he's trying to overcome and try to figure things out and try to figure out plays and everything else. I think it just all fell apart for him there towards the end. But
yeah, I mean the fact that you held the Cowboys to 21 through three quarters isn't that bad either. Like you held one of the best offenses to 3 scores in 3 quarters. So then the final game of this week was the Buccaneers and the Saints. Again, when I saw this game on the TV, I said, "Oh heck no! I'm not wasting 3.5 hours of my time to watch the Buccaneers stomp the Saints." Oh no, I had the Saints over the Bucks. I said the Saints would stomp the Bucks. Obviously, I was wrong. I admit that, and I'm okay with that. Just that I was wrong
what was
on
the final score? I forgot what the final score was.
17-16.
Yep.
The Bucks scored with a last second touchdown. Well, it's like 5 seconds left on the board. But what really caused the game for the Saints was Mark Ingram just stumbling out of bounds early. But I'm like, I don't blame him. It was second and 10. He runs for 9 yards, goes out of bounds. So it's 3rd and 1. If you can't pick up a 3rd and 1 in the NFL, that's not your running back's fault. That is your entire offense's fault. If your entire
Third and
game
one.
relied on that, dude, like no.
Yeah, if you can't win a 3rd and 1, you don't deserve to win a football game. Period.
That's why I have a lot of slack for kickers, because like again, if your game is coming down to your kicker kicking a field goal, other stuff went wrong in your game that you need to blame other people. Because kickers, I mean, they kick the ball, but like if your offense isn't doing it, is like not scoring points, if your defense is laying up too many points to where you need the kicker, there's way more problems than the kicker missing a field goal. Now if they shank it, that's different. But like if they like barely miss it, I got no
Yeah.
problem with that.
Mhm. Barring like a blowout where it's you get the ball last 19 seconds driving down the field. Yeah, barring that, yeah, it's if you have a kicker come on the field, something went wrong to win you the game.
Yeah. But that was our reaction to week 13 of the NFL season. Moving on to Nick's picks of the week. I'm not excited for this because I know I'm going to get all of these wrong again. Again, on the screen, you guys will be seeing my picks. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. I actually have the Titans winning this, but I think I'll change my mind. I think I want to change my mind. I think I'm going to go with the Jags. Obviously, I'm not going to change it now. It's already too late. I made the graphic. But I'm actually going to go Jags over the Titans. What do you think?
I think a good coach isn't going to lose 2 weeks in a row, and I actually think the Jaguars might have the better coach at this point in their careers. And I want to think Mike Vrabel was a worse coach than what's his name down in was the Philly
Doug
coach? Now it's
Peterson.
the Jacksonville. Doug Peterson, thank you. Um, but he's done a good job with Jacksonville this year, and so yeah, I
Yes, he
think
has.
Jacksonville might pull this one out.
I think that might be an upset. I mean, let me look real quick. I'm gonna see if I have any other like. Oh wow, they won that. Oh no, never mind. I got a different upset. That's not the upset of the week. I got a different one coming. Next is the Jets Bills. Bills. Just no discussion. It's the Bills.
Yeah,
So
it's Bills.
uh, Browns Bengals. I might again change my pick. I think I'm going with the Bengals. I think I'm going with the Bengals. Again, I made this graphic on Saturday nights. I made it before the games, and I even thought like, maybe I should wait till Monday. I did not wait till Monday. I made it Saturday night. I'm going Bengals. As much as it hurts me knowing that kills our playoff chances, Deshaun's not ready for it. It's just what it is.
Going into if it was in Cleveland, I think it's a different story. But going into Cincinnati with a quarterback that's not ready to play, I think Cincinnati might pull up, which they've not showed up against the Browns
Yeah.
recently. So
What the
I
what the
think they're
Bengals
going
are what the Bengals are to the Chiefs, we are to the Bengals, and I love it. I love it. Like that is always one or two games a year that I'm like, okay, that is a game I genuinely feel we can win every time. Not right now though. I think this is Joe Burrow's first win against the Browns,
I
and
agree.
I don't think Deshaun's ready. But
I don't think
then the Ravens and the Steelers. I do have the Ravens now. Lamar Jackson is week to week. He is not like for sure out of anything. He is week to week. If it is Tyler Huntley, I'm still going the Ravens. I think their defense is just better. It's just better.
it's tough because yeah, I think I'd go Ravens here too. Um, I think the Steelers will be playing with a lot of pride. They're still trying to get into the playoffs, but I don't think pride's going to win you a game in this one. I think the Ravens are still the better team and the better coach team at this point.
Well, and their defense is healthy. That's the scary thing, that when the Ravens are healthy, they're a top two
Yeah.
team in the AFC. The problem is that they're never healthy, but their
If they
defense.
can, if they stayed healthy, they would be a serious threat for the Super Bowl this year.
Yep.
They can't stay healthy, so
Nope. The entire running back room has been a revolving door again for the second year in a row. Like it's ridiculous. But their offensive line's been playing good. I like their offensive line this year. They've been pretty good this
yeah, it's
year.
pretty good.
Then Miami and the Chargers. It's Miami. I think it's a bounce back game. I think it'll be at least 4 touchdowns from Tua. Incoming 200-yard Tyreek Hill game. 200. I put money on it.
I don't know if I'd go that high, but I do think Miami wins this, and I think they win it in a blowout fashion. I don't think it's a close game. I think it's comeback. I think this will be what ends up getting the Chargers coach fired.
I want to see
I
Keenan
want him out
Allen's.
of there so bad.
I want to see Keenan Allen's injury real quick. I just want to. I don't know if he's back yet.
Didn't he play last week?
Did he play last week? Let me check. I didn't even know if he played. Keenan
I could
Allen.
be wrong.
Oh, he did. No, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, he's back. That's cool.
Yeah.
He's been back for 3 weeks, by the way. I didn't know that. He's been back for 3 weeks. Hey, Keenan Allen's back. Maybe, but still, I think it's gonna be a blowout.
I don't think it matters. I don't think a wide receiver coming back is going to make that big of a difference, no matter how good he is.
I don't know if Tyreek Hill came back to the Dolphins. I'm just saying.
Oh, 100%. He's a difference maker. I don't think Keenan Allen is the same to the Chargers that Tyreek Hill is to the Miami.
Yeah, that's true. Next is the Chiefs, Broncos, Chiefs.
Yeah.
I'm so upset that the Broncos suck this year, dude. It sucks. I hate it.
I want the Broncos to win so bad.
I know.
It would make for such good TV.
It's just so upsetting how bad they are. It's just like, can we? Like, I would genuinely. I mean, I guess you don't have your first round pick, but I mean, you're losing anyway with Russ. I would bench Russ. Tell him like, hey man, play for next year. Just don't attack it. Just play for next year, man.
They're not mathematically. I think as soon as they are mathematically eliminated, I think they probably will.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a smart move for his health. Like, tell him, hey man, get mentally healthy again, because I'm sure he's been going through a lot of crap.
Russ will let that happen. Let's be honest, Russ runs that team.
Yeah.
I don't think Russ is gonna let that happen until they're mathematically out of it. But
at the same time, though, I could see him playing all 18 weeks, and in the last game, like playing the final minutes, when it's like, why Russ? Why are you playing for anything? It's like, well, that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah, he's a competitor, but he just there's something off. There's something off with him. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if I mean, some athletes just go through a dry spell.
Yep.
It just happens. And so I don't think he's done. I don't think he's dried up. I think they'll come back. I think they'll be good next year. But this season, it's definitely the Chiefs this week.
Well, I mean, I'm not putting any money on the Broncos next year, so not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Next up is the Raiders and the Rams. Now, Baker's not playing Week 14. He's not playing because he just got signed, and I believe this is a Thursday night football game. So I know he's not playing this week. So it's Bryce Perkins versus the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders this week.
Yeah, I think the Raiders. I think if Derek Carr is healthy, that the offense is healthy, I don't think the Rams can keep up.
I agree. Yeah. Next is the Texans, Cowboys. Poor Lovie Smith.
Yeah. I could see an upset here. I could, but
oh, I got the upset coming. I got the upset coming up, man.
Not enough to pick them. I think the Cowboys will win here. I think the Texans could make it a match, but I think the Cowboys ultimately win.
Yeah. Next is the Cardinals and the Patriots. I have the Cardinals because they're coming off a bye week. Any other reason I'm going the Patriots. I'm being serious. Any other reason I'm going the Patriots. But because it's Cardinals off of a bye week, I think that's why they win. They get an extra week of film.
Yeah, but did their quarterback actually take that time to actually watch the film?
Well, I was playing Warzone, and some guy sounded a lot like him.
That's the thing. He's a very talented quarterback, but he has a film watching issue. Same with Big Ben. Big Ben was a lot like that too. He refused to watch film, but he would show up, and you couldn't bench him because he would show up and still throw for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it was like, how can we bench him? But
that 2014 to 2018 run with the Steelers, man. What I still remember, man. What an insane 4-year run for that team, and not a single Super Bowl. And here's my upset of the week: Lions over the Vikings. I think it's a nail biter, high scoring, 35-38. I think it's 30. I think it's 38-35.
I think the Vikings, their point differential this year, I don't have it. Can I pull it up? I'm not going to be able to pull it up in time. They've only outscored their opponents offensively to defensively by 10 points this year. That's how close their games have been. 10 points. They've only outscored their opponents by 10 total points this year. That's how close every single.
Oh, it's 32. It's 32. Oh no, it's 10. It's 10.
No, it's 10. Is it 10? I was right.
I had the wrong year. It's 10 points. It's 10 points.
Either way, yeah. Either way, that's how close their games have been this year. I think they come limping into this game. I still think they're the better team.
Oh yeah.
I don't. It's not like I still have them out at top of the NFL, still making deep playoff run, all that. But I think this week, just for this week, I think the Lions come in hot. I think the Lions don't. Or sorry, I don't think the Vikings do. I think the Lions ultimately win this game because the Vikings are hurt a little
Well,
bit.
and the Lions are playing for something. If the Vikings do win this game, they clinch the NFC North. I don't know if the Lions are mathematically eliminated from the NFC North.
They're not. The
So
Lions
like,
had to lose last week for them to be eliminated, and they didn't. They won.
I just want to see what their I don't know what their overall actually is. NFC North. Oh, okay, they're eliminated. Okay, they're mathematically eliminated from the divisional. Okay, it's 10-2 against 5-7. Like, okay, mathematically they haven't lost the division yet, but they lost the division. Yeah. But still, you're playing for the playoffs. You're 5-7. You're still playing for the playoffs.
Yeah, unless the Vikings lost every game and the Lions won every game, they're eliminated.
Yeah.
But,
so, well, no, they're not eliminated from the playoffs, but from the division.
No, just the division. That's
yeah.
What I meant.
Yeah. So I think the Lions are playing knowing that, hey, we saw the playoffs on the line. We won 3 in a row now. We're going on a hot streak, and Jamal Williams is unstoppable, just unstoppable. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I do have that as the upset of the week. Next is the Eagles and the Giants. Eagles. Eagles.
Yeah.
Eagles.
It's the Eagles. I would have, if the Giants played for the win last week and they won it, I probably would pick the Giants coming off of momentum. But I lost a lot of respect for the Giants after last week, and so I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this one.
Odell Beckham Jr. I just want to make sure. I want to see.
There's been no announcements.
So the Cowboys are not confident at all signing Odell Beckham Jr. That was 5 hours ago. Jerry Jones said that. So I mean, the Cowboys owner, who is very heavily involved, said he doesn't feel confident. If let's say Odell right now, like I guess it's Monday, Tuesday. Let's say Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Odell Beckham Jr. signs with the Giants. He has 4 days of practice, or I guess 4 days until the game. Is that? Yeah, he's healthy now. He's been.
But has it been proven that he's healthy?
Well, apparently NFL doctors 3 weeks ago cleared him. Then the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks for the last 2 weeks he's been working on getting NFL ready.
But Baker Mayfield was cleared to play last year, and we saw what he did.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Is he ready? If he is ready, if he's what he was in the, that's a major boost. I still don't think it's enough to win against Philly.
No, I think I thought it would be an interesting conversation point that Odell technically is not signed yet, and the Cowboys don't feel confident they're going to sign him right now. So, next is the 49ers and the Bucks. I have the 49ers. I don't know if that's an upset. Is that an upset? Would you say it's an upset?
I don't think it is. I think a lot of people might lean towards the Tampa Bay this week. I think it's not an upset either way. I think it's a pick game. Just because Tom Brady is going against a rookie quarterback, I think that's really tough. But I think the 49ers overall, just that team, it's going to be a good game. But I think the 49ers win it. But I think Tom really wants to win against the San Francisco. That's the team that he wanted to go to. That's his homer team. Where is it at?
So I actually pulled it up right here. It is. I'm not good at this stuff. I don't really understand it for the most part. So it is a 3.5 point home favorite. So the 49ers are favorited. It is over under 38.
Okay.
And then the money line, it's in San Fran. The money line is negative 185 to San Fran, plus 155 to the Bucks.
Yeah, I think San Fran wins.
I agree as well. I think they do.
I really think Tom Brady's going to have a good game. So we'll see.
I say the opposite. I think this defense is generational.
I don't think it matters. I think when the football gods, whenever Tom Brady decides he wants to win a football game, something shines upon the old man's arm.
Unless it's the Browns, baby. Unless it's the Cleveland Browns. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Never mind. Makes sense.
Like, unless, we'll see. I still think it's the 49ers though.
Yeah. And the final game of the week, I believe it's Monday night. I don't know if it is actually. If this is a Monday night game, I'm not watching it again. Panthers at the
Cardinals.
Oh my
Is
god.
the
It's
Monday night.
it's another week I'm not watching, dude. Stop scheduling bad primetime games. Anyway, Panthers at Seahawks. I've had the Seahawks. I don't care if the Panthers are coming off a bye. It's Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
easily taking Geno Smith in
No,
that.
that's not a primetime game.
No, it's just
That's 4:25.
on my list, it's the very last game listed. So I didn't know if they put that as the Monday night prime time because it was the last game.
That's the 4:25 on Sunday.
What's Sunday night?
Sunday night is Miami Chargers.
Maybe a good game. What about Thursday night? Is that the
Thursday.
Rams Raiders?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just.
And that should have been coming into the season. That should have been a good game. Like think back to when this schedule was being made.
I know.
It should have been.
But dude,
it should have been like playoff implements. Like.
Do you not remember the first 5 weeks of Thursday night football? How bad the first 5 weeks of Thursday night football were?
Yeah.
I suffered through all of that.
I'm not gonna blame the NFL for this particular week because this should have been.
No, I'm not blaming the NFL. I'm blaming for the terrible play from all NFL teams this year. Everyone's playing bad. But
Justin Fields.
I mean, the Chicago Bears. But anyway, that is the end of Nick's picks of the week. If you guys do have any different opinions, please let me know in the comments. And if again, I do have my upset of the week as the Lions over the Vikings. I think it's a pretty good upset game.
Yeah.
But moving on to Aaron's top 10, bottom 5. If you wanna hit it off.
Yeah, for sure. So for my top 10, bottom 5 this week, we have a few interesting things popping up. At number 10, coming in for the top 10 teams in the NFL this week, we have the Detroit Lions.
Ooh.
I don't think that they've fallen any off at it at all. I don't think that there's going to be as many people arguing with me as there was last week after a 40-14 win. They 100% deserve to be in a team with top 10 right now. They just do. They're playing lights out football. They're on a hot streak. I don't care what anyone says. I think they deserve to be in that spot. If not higher, definitely 10. My number 9 team this week in the NFL is the New York Jets. I think that the New York Jets played a very good team against the team that I had ranked number 1 last week. When a team coming in that was unranked last week comes in and plays a good game against a team that was ranked number 1, you're going to have to put them up into a ranking at that point. They played a great game. I think Mike White has been playing a very solid game. They got some good defensive players, some nice young offensive talented people. We'll see if they can continue down the road. But right now, where they sit this week, they are number 8.
9.
At number 7.
Wait, who's 9?
That was 9.
You said the
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 9. We're at 8. Sorry, we're at 8. At number 8, we have the Miami Dolphins. All right. I don't think there's been really many arguments up to this point. I think they've definitely fallen down after last week. You can't beat a team without a quarterback. I'm sorry.
Badly.
Yeah. You've fallen down, in my opinion, in the rankings. I don't think you're falling out of the top 10. I think they're still a scary team. They're still a scary offense. But I don't think they deserve to be any higher than 8 at this point in the season. Any disagreements up until the point of this list, or any topics that you want to cover?
You said the Jets were unranked last week?
I'm pretty sure. Did I rank them last week?
I don't think you did. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the Jets coming out. I think having the Jets over the Lions is a little. I mean, like, it's preference. I'm fine with them being in the top 10 because of how they played against the Vikings.
I think so. Here's the thing. Yeah, I think they should definitely be in the top 10. I would almost have them at 10 and have the Lions at 9.
But if they faced off, I'm taking the Jets.
Yeah, that's where I was at. When I was making this list, I was like, if I'm going to take these two teams and I'm going to face them off against each other, who am I going to pick?
Yeah, Jets.
Right now, I'm going to pick the Jets.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll be a close game, and I think the Lions could win that game. But right now, if I was gonna bet,
Yeah, Jets. I
it
put
would be
I
on the
put
Jets.
I put my money on the Jets. So
Yeah,
I guess yeah. Okay, that's fine then.
that's a good conversational point about it though. Yeah. Now coming in at number 7 this week, the team that came in off a win off of Miami, it is the San Francisco 49ers.
Good placement.
I think they, even without Jimmy G, they're still a Super Bowl favorite. I still think they'll make a deep playoff run.
Yep.
They're still pretty healthy in all their key spots. We'll see if they can continue and maybe catch some fire moving ahead in this playoff race. Any conversation topics that
I
you want to
I
hit there,
agree.
Rick?
I agree. They can't be any higher just because of the quarterback, but they definitely can't be any lower. I think they're on the bubble of the Super Bowl
Yeah,
contender.
they're in the bubble, if not already. Like, yeah. But when you list those teams off, Miami, Jets, Lions,
They can
there's
be
not
any of
a
them.
team.
Yeah, they can be any of
Yeah,
them.
there's not a team that's going to be beating them. And this is where an argument kind of came into my mind, and you might
Uh-oh.
be in an argument too with me
Uh-oh.
here. I have the Cowboys at number 6.
No, I'm
But
fine with that.
yeah, yeah. But with what they showed up last week and how they played, I wasn't a believer until last week and what they can truly do. Now,
I'm
is
still
this a
not a
good team?
believer,
Yes.
so
No,
I'm
I'm
still
not.
not a believer,
But
so
when I say believer, as if is this a good team? I'm not a believer as in are they a Super Bowl favorite, or even if they're going to win a playoff game. I'm a believer that this is a legitimately good team that could play off and beat anyone in the NFL.
yeah.
I believe anyone on my top 10 this week, given the odds, given the wind blowing in their favor, could beat any team in the NFL given a Sunday. Right? Lions can beat any of the upper teams that are going to be coming up. Any team on this team, I wouldn't be completely, oh my gosh, you can't believe it, it was a complete upset of this game. And same with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have been a very solid team this year. I think they will win a few playoff games. I don't think they'll win at all, but we'll see. I have them at 6 this week, and I think that's a good placement for them. Moving ahead, we have at number 5 the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, and the reason I have them at
I mean,
5,
they
I had them
lost.
either at 3 or 4 last week, and then you lost,
Yeah, you got to go down.
and
You got to go down.
you got to go down. And I still think they're like the AFC Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, no, they'll beat the Bills.
Bills?
They'll beat
Yeah,
the Bills easily.
even
So
Cincinnati, like one of those two teams, like those are the three. That's the three-headed dog right there. That's going to go into that AFC Championship game and battle it out. You pick or choose who you want to face. It'll be Kansas City.
yeah.
It's going to be Kansas City in one of those two teams. It's not going to be the Bengals and the Buffalo. I don't think. I mean, who knows?
Well, it's gonna be Bills have 1 seed, Chiefs have 2. Then the
Yeah.
Ravens currently hold the NFC North, or AFC North. I don't think they're giving it up. So it's gonna be Bengals as
No.
the 5th seed, going to
Yeah,
But what does 5 seed face? Do they face 4? Is it 4-5 face?
I face 4. Yeah,
So they're not gonna face the Bills. Whoever's the 1 seed, the Bengals aren't gonna
yeah.
face them until the conference championship. So if the Chiefs can steal the 1st seed, they don't gotta deal with them for a while.
Yeah. So, I'm saying, I think the Bengals are either going to face off again, or the Chiefs are going to either face off against the Bills or the Bengals in that championship game.
Yeah, I
don't
completely
believe the
agree.
Ravens are going to do that.
Nope.
I don't think any other team, Miami, I don't think is
Nope.
this year. I think in the future they're going to be an exciting team. This year, I don't think they're ready for it.
No, this year is only it really is only the Bengals, because
Really,
the Bengals are built for it this year. The Bills are built for it this year. The Chiefs are built for it for this year and the future because of Patrick Mahomes. But like the Miami Dolphins are built for the future. The Jets are built for the future. What's another team? The Ravens just need to get healthy. They're built for the future. Well, Lamar's not signed
and
long
now
term.
and for the future. Yeah.
I mean, Lamar's not signed long term though. And he's already gone through a couple injuries in the last year or 2.
Yeah, I think he'll still resign there with the Ravens.
I hope
don't
not.
see him up and leaving.
God, I hope not.
Yeah, I'm sure you.
God, I hope not, bro. I want him to the Lions. I want him to the
If he
Lions. I've
has
been
a
saying it
bad
for
splitting-
years.
Let's be honest here. If he has a bad split up with the Ravens, he's going to Pittsburgh.
He's going to the Lions. Stop.
No.
He's going to the Lions. That's all I want.
If he has a bad breakup with the Baltimore, he's going to Pittsburgh.
I want a Lions Lamar Jackson jersey
Game
so badly. So badly.
Get it. And he's talked about it. That's one of the teams I think he's listed as a team he would actually want to go to.
That's all I
That's
want.
exciting.
I would root for the
But
Lions for the NFC if Lamar Jackson went to the Lions. I love Lamar Jackson,
I
but
might become a closet Lions fan at
it's
that
no, you
point.
don't gotta be closeted, bro. Everyone will understand. Everyone will understand.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm
continue.
a Bears fan. I can't be two teams of the NFC
Nope,
North at the same time.
everyone will understand because Lamar Jackson is so likable.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. The team that beat the Kansas City Chiefs coming in at number is that yeah 4. Number 4 is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
I think they're the better team from the Baltimore Ravens, even though they have the better record at this point in the NFL season. I think they're the better team, and I think that's a good spot for them at 4. I think Joe Burrow entered the MVP conversation this week, like we covered earlier. Um, like I said earlier, there's not a single team on here that I don't think the Bengals are going to beat that is ahead of them. If they want to match and match, they proved that they were better this week against the Chiefs. I think beat the Cowboys, Jets, 49ers, Miami, and so on. So I definitely have them there, and will continue to be high if they continue winning. Number 3 this week, coming in, the Kings of the AFC. They've reclaimed the AFC number 1 seed. It is the Buffalo Bills.
So
Buffalo
two,
Bills at 3.
so two NFC teams in the top two.
Two
I,
NFL and CC teams are the top 2.
I don't know who's number
Um,
two. I know who's number one. I don't know who's number two. I'm intrigued.
yeah, and so here's the thing. I really, truly, I'm still not 100% of a believer in the Buffalo Bills.
I agree.
think they've embarrassed themselves a few times.
Yep.
But I think 3 is a really good spot for them. I think that right there in the middle, they could definitely move up. They could move down. I think right there at 3, there's not a team I think that's really going to beat them. Or that they're not going to beat that's came before them. And these next 2 teams, I really think truly, in my heart of hearts, would beat them if they showed off. Coming up here. Any comments on the list up to this point?
What was number 4? That was the Bengals, right?
Yep.
I think that Jamar Chase didn't have a good day against the Chiefs. He had like a 4 for 80.
An average.
But like
One
just
really good play where he jumped over a guy, which was really cool. But
yeah, I think just having him on the field changes that offense. Like he doesn't have to like he's obviously still like lingering injury, but you can just tell the difference of him on the field, how good they play. So I'm fine with them at 4. At 3, you have the Bills. If you put them lower, I wouldn't have been mad either. Like this team is not that good right now. Like they're winning against they are winning games, but they're winning because of Josh Allen.
Yeah, they're similar to the Vikings.
Yep.
Where they're limping through these games, which
Yep.
that's they're winning. They're winning.
It's winning.
You can't argue
It's winning.
with them. It's winning, but they're limping, and that when you're going limping into a game, it scares me a little bit.
Take
And
Josh Allen.
I don't
Yeah, no, take Josh Allen out. They're not winning these games. That's the problem.
Not at all. But I mean, take any of these teams' quarterback, which he did with the 49ers. But take any
That's
of
what I'm
these
saying.
teams' quarterback. Take any of these teams' quarterbacks, they're not going to be the same team. You know, outside of Dallas and San Francisco, who proved that they can still play without their quarterbacks. But your quarterback's your main position.
I'm saying Josh Allen because he's also their leading rusher. How are you a quarterback and your team's unless you're Lamar Jackson, I don't want you being your team's leading rusher.
Justin Fields is too.
Oh my gosh, dude. Well, Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert getting hurt did not help either.
No, hear me out though. He's like number 6 or 7 in the league.
I love it.
In the league,
I love it.
Not quarterback. In the league rushing, he's like 6 or 7. He's got
love it.
940 yards, I think. Rushing is crazy. He's having crazy statistics.
We live in a world where Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields are top 10 rushers, just not even by yards. I know it doesn't mean like pure rushing ability. Mm-hmm. They're 2 of the top 10 best runners of the ball. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they can both throw, and they both can throw.
And they can both throw, That's the thing. Mobile quarterbacks of the past, Robert Griffin could not throw at 80-yard.
Yep, that's the best. I agree.
He just done it, and his arm wouldn't allow it. Justin Fields and Lamar 100% could. I've seen them do it.
No, yeah.
I've seen Justin Fields throw a whole field. I haven't seen Lamar do that, but I've seen Justin throw a whole field. So funny because his name's Fields too. But anyway, moving on. My number 2 team of the week, moving down from their number 1 spot. It is the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, I thought you already said the Vikings. Okay, no, I know. Okay, Yep, I agree. I agree. They
Nope.
should move down. I
Yep.
agree.
They barely beat the Jets. It was an ugly game. It was a scary game. When I'm watching that game and I'm scared for them, and I was scared for myself having ranked so highly last week, it's not a good look. You're limping. You have a 10 point differential that you're winning these games by. You need to up that. You need to do better. You don't have a bad team. You're winning games, but you need to get those point differentials up. And so you're at 2 this week. At my number 1 team this week, the
Philadelphia
best
Eagles.
team in the NFL, it's the Philadelphia
It's the
Eagles.
Eagles. Yeah.
It's at this point in the NFL, I can no longer deny their goodness. Their
They're the number
greatness.
one.
I can no longer. They're number 1. I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl this year.
I don't know, man. That NFC's looking weak. That NFC's looking weak, man.
I,
The only team I think
49ers would beat them in a head-to-head matchup.
and the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, and the Chiefs would beat them.
That's why I think they're hoping for the Bills. I think they're hoping for the Bills in the Super Bowl because Josh Allen versus that secondary. Yeah.
I think because it would be a toss-up, but I think they win against Minnesota. They win against Dallas. Yeah, and I think 49ers and the Chiefs are the two teams, and the Bengals. I would give the Bengals an edge in that game too. But
That's what I'm saying. I think they're hoping for the Bills in the Super Bowl. If let's say they do go to the Super Bowl, let's say like we 100% know it's the Eagles in the future. Like we can see the future.
Yeah.
I think if we're Eagles fans, we're wanting the Bills because it's if you can take out Josh Allen, it's gone.
Well,
you won the game.
Jets, you're wanting the Miami Dolphins.
I'm being serious though. I'm being serious though. Like
but yeah, if you're picking,
they're not going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, they're not beating the Chiefs. No one is beating the Chiefs right now. But let's just say somehow the Bills beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah,
I think they want. It could. They want the Bills so badly because they know they can't beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think it will be one of those 3 teams: the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills against. I think
Eagles or 49ers. Yeah, Eagles or 49ers.
A toss up between those 2 teams. I think that's your AFC Championship game now. I've lost a little faith in the Minnesota Vikings. We'll see if they can get that point differential up and see if they can start convincing some teams. All right, bottom 5. We'll get through this so we're not taking too long in this segment, but we'll get through this real quick. At number 5. Now we're going from 5 is the 5th in line of the worstest team. They're not the worst team. 4 and so on. Number 1 is the worst team in the NFL.
Yep.
Just clarifying, some people get confused with that. All right, it's the Colts. Colts are 5.
Yeah.
I want it to not be that way. I want the Colts to be better. But they're not a good team right now, and so I have them as my 5th worst team in the NFL at this point. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I want to hear your other picks first before I say anything.
Yeah. At number 4, I have the Panthers. Panthers have been a complete embarrassment this year. They fired their coach. They're going to fire their GM. They're going to completely rebuild. They've traded away some of their best players. They've been a complete embarrassment, and I don't know what else you can really truly say. We'll go through it, and then we can talk about some reviews and stuff after. At number 3, I have the Texans. Now, a lot of people have them as their worst team in the NFL. I have 2 picks, and I have 2 reasons of why I have these 2 teams ahead of the Texans.
All right.
I think the Texans are a team that we knew heading into the season they're going to be bad.
Oh, I see how you're taking this. Okay.
They were going to be a bad team.
Yeah.
We knew they were in a rebuild. We knew Bobby Smith was a placeholder. We knew they didn't have a quarterback. We knew all of these things. That's plain and simple. What we didn't know
They're playing how we expected.
they're playing as expected. What we didn't know was the Broncos were going to be as bad as they are. I have them as my number 2 worst team in the NFL. They have been complete crap this season. They have not done a single thing very well besides the defense, and even their defense
Amazing
has been
defense.
very good.
Up now it's not anymore. No, now it's not anymore. They've given up.
Yeah.
Like if you watch the last 2 weeks, they've given up. They've
just given up. And so
But through the first 12 weeks, dude, it was apparently they held it was less than 15 points. Less than 15 points in every game. But their offense only scored 13. So I mean, like,
You can't control that.
yeah,
And so that's where I have the Texans at 3, and then I have them at 2 because we expected the Texans to be this way.
yeah.
And I think the Texans have proven that they are actually a little bit better than what we thought they were going to
Their
be.
defenses.
Yeah. And so at this point, like, why? And that young running back looks really good too.
Damian Pierce.
And so, like, so I think definitely, without a doubt in my mind, the Broncos deserve to be number 2 worst team in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And at number 1, the biggest disappointment this year, this is how I'm going based off of this, it's the Rams.
Yep.
How do you go from winning the Super Bowl, being a team that was supposed to be the next dynasty? It was looking like it was going to be all-stars. You spent $5 billion on a stadium. You were one of the first teams to win, second team to win a Super Bowl in their stadium.
In a row.
In a row. But yeah, second team to ever do it. It was crazy. All the lights, all the shining, and it's completely fallen to complete crap this season. Now, are they a worse team than the Texans? No, I don't think so. I think they're a better team than the Texans. But if we're talking about the worst team and the worst expectations, I think I had them going back to the playoffs, definitely making a deep playoff run.
Yeah, same.
I didn't think they would probably win the Super Bowl again, but I had them making a deep playoff run. And so to have that to being like their one game, I think, being away from eliminated from the playoffs.
Well, they're currently a top 5 pick. I believe they're 5. I think they're 5. I believe they're 5.
Yeah, and I don't think they own that pick either.
Nope, it is the Broncos. Well, no, the Lions. It's the Lions. Sorry, it's the Lions.
Lions, yeah.
So, hold on,
that's my top 10, bottom 5. Any arguments with that list?
No, not at all. I completely agree. I don't disagree with any of that. I want to share something real quick. This, oh god, let me screen share this. This was my NFC playoffs. I mean, I'm doing pretty good for the most part, but I had the Rams as the 4 seed and the Packers as the 1 seed. Not doing, not too bad.
Okay. I'll pull up mine from next week if I can find it, but
I'll save my AFC one so we can talk about it next week. Yeah, I'll keep my AFC one right now, but. I mean, not terrible, but man, I thought the Packers were going to be amazing this year, but
I wasn't a believer.
Yeah,
and that's not just because I'm a Bears fan. I really, truly thought that they were going to fall. Their best player was Devontae Smith, not Aaron Rodgers, not any of those running backs. It was Devontae Smith.
Adams.
And when you lose your best player, Devontae.
Come on, man. For 12 years, he owned you. You don't remember his name by now?
I tried to block those memories.
Makes sense. Co-owner of your franchise, bro. Come on.
Yeah. No. He still said I still own you last Sunday, and
he did.
Yeah.
I'm not too mad about it. Actually, I ain't too mad about it. But
I mean, I am because of a Bears fan, and it's true. He does.
It's just the problem is that if he would have lost and then said that, all right, bro, shut up. But like 18-point comeback. So, but moving on to our conversational topics. The first one is kind of a hot topic right now. We're gonna be talking about the college football playoff expansion and just the playoffs this year in general. So again, let me share this. I see it's on our Discord. So on the screen, I am showing so in 2024, there is the college football playoff expansion to 12 teams. Currently, it's 4 going to 12, to where each of the top 4 seeds of each, or the top seed of each conference gets a bye week. So here's how it would shake out if the 12-team playoffs was this year. It would be number 1 Georgia bye week, number 2 Michigan bye week, number 3 Clemson bye week, number 4 Utah bye week. Number 5 would be there's TCU, number 6 Ohio State, number 7 Alabama, number 8 Tennessee, number 9 Kansas State, number 10 USC, number 11 Penn State, and number 12 Tulane would actually sneak into the playoffs. I am a huge fan of this, which I know is surprisingly it's a controversial take. People want the 4 team, they want the AP polls to control your college. That's what it is. They control your college.
No, I think I can even see expanding to even more teams in the
I hope
future.
not. I mean, I hope not.
Yeah, it's I hope not either, but I can see it. It's gonna make more money.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's be
Like,
honest.
it's like
That's
we
yeah.
love football, the game, but it's a business, guys. Like the fact that this
Well,
hasn't been done yet, it's just shocking to me.
well, the fact that we just what was it 6, 7 years ago got a 14 playoff instead of just the top two teams facing off.
It's crazy to me.
It's crazy. Like it needs to be a playoff. It is in high school. It is in pretty much any other sport. The fact that it wasn't in football and college is just crazy to me.
Well, yeah, basketball has an entire month. Like it has March Madness. Then it has a whole Sweet 16,
I
Elite
could see
8,
them.
Final Four. Like
Yeah, I
it's,
could see them going to that format
I would
actually in
love it.
the NFL.
I would love it.
And yeah, I can, or in not the NFL, but in the college playoffs, um, because it's so successful with March Madness.
Yep.
If you already have a blueprint that's successful, let's throw a 64 team playoff in there. Let's out watch and take up the whole month of January. I'd watch January football all of January. Like, come on.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine a 15 seed making it to the conference championship? Like it'd
Or
be the
even
St.
like
Peters.
the
It'd be the
national
St. Peters.
championship. Yeah.
I'm
Or
not
even
gonna
the
go
national
there.
cha-
Georgia
No, I'm just
would
saying.
wipe with anybody. I
Yeah.
mean, like, but
I'm
making
just
it to
saying
like a
if
Final
they
Four.
somehow miracle they make it Final Four, even making it to the playoffs and then or making to the like, championship game and then losing. I'm not
Mhm.
saying they would win,
Yeah, yeah,
but
I know what you mean.
it would be a great story. It'd be a lot of fun. I like that they've expanded it to 12 teams. I think it's a good number. We'll see how it shakes out in the future.
And what the most important thing in my eyes is that with March Madness this past year in 2022, St. Petersburg or St. Peters, I believe it was, they went from a 16 seed all the way to the Elite Eights or the Final Four, but they were unranked before the 16th
Yep.
seed. They were unranked. A team that literally played on a public street basketball. Like their college didn't have a campus. It was like two buildings was their campus. They got like $15 million and they completely renovated everything. The coach got a promotion. The players all transferred to higher division schools. Like that's what this does. It opens up the opportunity for a Tulane, a 12 seed, to go all the way to the national championship. These guys can then transfer to better schools. Coaches get better jobs, and your school gets money for making it further as you go. So I'm all
Just
for it. I love it.
copy paste a 64 game playoff. Why are you not doing it?
Yeah,
It's yeah.
yeah.
That's
I think it's
I like where
injuries.
it's going.
I think it's mainly injuries because like football is way more than basketball.
It, it's more injuries, but it's not going to be that many games.
That's true.
It's not like I'm saying there's going to be a tournament. It's not in basketball either. It's a one game elimination. Put a similar format on. I don't know what I would have to do the math of what that would look like.
I don't
with
even
the
want to think about it
bracket.
right now.
Yeah,
It'd be
but
like
I
eight
do
or
really like the 12
it'd be like 8 to 10 games. About 8 to 10 more games.
shorten the season, extend the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
if you were that worried about injuries, make a 10 game regular season, make a longer playoffs. But yeah, no, I like the 12 teams. I really like it for coming up. I think it would be really interesting Tulane coming in, or like a Penn State that just lost to Michigan convincingly, but they're a real fun team this year. They had some really cool, or like a Tennessee, like seeing a Tennessee in a playoff, they 100% could beat a Georgia. I don't think they would, but they 100% could.
Well, any given Sunday,
And
any given Saturday.
yeah, yeah, or Michigan or whatever. Like it, yeah, I'm not saying Michigan's crazy; they're already in the playoffs. But I'm saying like Tennessee could beat Michigan or any other team, and it allows them into that spot. Or like Ohio, Ohio might be sitting on the edge of the playoffs this year. It would allow them in. It's one of those.
Well, Alabama.
Um,
Alabama's a perfect example.
yeah, we are gonna have to see about Alabama for like every playoffs for the next like 12 years. Which is kind of
We've
sad.
already seen it for the last 12 years, so I don't care.
I know.
This
But
is only the second time they've missed the playoffs
mhm,
in school history.
yeah,
Insane.
yep,
But and then talking about the college football playoffs, we do currently know the seedings and the
yep,
games. So the number one seeded Georgia is going against, I believe, the number 4 seed TCU. Correct? It's Georgia
mhm,
TCU.
Yep.
No, it's Georgia, Ohio State, Ohio State. Ohio State's number 4. And then it is Michigan, TCU, 2-3. So we could see another rematch of Michigan, Ohio State in the national championship game.
Yeah. I really wanted Alabama to get in this year, and the only reason I wanted Alabama to get in this year is Alabama would then be that 4 seed, and then Alabama would be facing Georgia, and then Ohio State would be facing Michigan. It'd be the 2 rivals, and then you would have higher ratings, and then the championship game would have been Michigan in Oklahoma, or not Oklahoma, Georgia, um, in that championship game, because Michigan's already proved they're the better team this year, and Georgia's already proved they're the better team this year over Alabama. And so, but it would have been a fun week and a fun way to get into it. Now you could see a Ohio State Michigan national championship.
Which is
Like,
what I'm
how
rooting
cool would
for.
that be?
That's what I'm
That
rooting
would be
for.
so cool. It's not going to happen.
No.
Georgia's going to wipe the floor with them.
Yep.
But it'd be fun to watch. If Michigan wipes the floor with you, there's no way you're getting out of Georgia.
Well, Ryan Day would lose his job. Like you guys,
Yeah.
Ryan. I think no matter what, Ryan Day's fired. Me personally, like you're gonna lose to Georgia. They're gonna lose to Georgia. It's fine. You're gonna lose to Georgia. He's already lost his job, in my opinion. But if let's say they do beat Georgia and they lose to Michigan again in the Natty, bro, they would tell him on the spot, bro, just go home. Like don't even go back to Ohio. You got to leave Ohio, man. You can't come back here. Like he would be an enemy of Ohio.
Be in Ohio.
That's a good point. Anyway, yeah, I think it's really interesting. But I mean, I think it's gonna be Georgia, Michigan. And that's gonna be that's gonna be a fun national championship game. So
It is.
So I'm not complaining about it. Is Blake Corum actually hurt? Is he like done for the season?
It's still speculation at this point. I don't think there's been, as far as my knowledge, as far as what I.
That's what I heard. That's what I remember as well. Is that it was just like they don't know yet.
Yeah.
Blake Corum. It's just talking about the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. No. He's out. He's done
Is
for the
he out?
playoffs. He's done for the playoffs.
That's rough.
Yep, Heisman hopeful out for season to undergo knee surgery. Will be ready for draft. I don't know, man. TCU. I might change my mind a little bit because Blake Corum has been that offense. I might be taking TCU. Who knows? That's 2 weeks from now, right? Or a week from now?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
All right, so we don't got to talk about that then. We'll talk about that next show. But that's it for the college football playoffs. I'm very excited for the expansion and about what what we could see in the bowl game. But we can talk about the bowl games next week and more in depth. Speaking of college football, I'm very excited to announce my first rankings of the 2023 NFL Draft. I'm gonna try and do rankings every show of different positions. And I thought because the Heisman is so quarterback heavy, I thought I would start off with the quarterback draft rankings. And I'd love to hear your opinion on each pick. So I did the top 5 because if I did the top 6, it would only be for quarterback. I'd be doing top 6 because I like Anthony Richardson, but I think he is the 6th guy looking in. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's had a good season, but for the NFL draft, I think he is the 6th guy looking in.
Now it doesn't mean he's not gonna get drafted over these guys, but I'm saying just like I didn't want to do a 6th thing for him. I think he's a 6th best quarterback, but I still think he's gonna get drafted over some of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I
think. Yeah.
Sorry, you're good.
No, I'll speak on what I was gonna say after your next few points.
Tyler Van Dyke from Miami is going back to school. He probably would have gotten in over one of these guys. I'm a very big fan of Tyler Van Dyke, but I think it was smart for him to go back to school. So, but he would have been my 5th guy if he would have stayed.
Mm-hmm. He's not going to get in over like a topper pick over some of these quarterbacks coming out this year.
Yep.
And so I think coming back for a year, you're going to be one of the number 1 recruits next year. Play a good season. See if you can come out on top.
Why did my camera just lose focus? I think it'll autofocus. But yeah, I mean, the only quarterback next year is Caleb Williams, and he's number 1. He's obviously the number 1 guy. So I think Tyler Van Dyke could be the number 2, number 3 quarterback next year. So I think it was smart for him to go back. But he would have been my 5th guy.
Like, yeah, but if he has a uh, great season, like what if he's the best quarterback next year? He
He
could
could
enter
he
the
could have a
Super
Mac Jones
conversation.
rise.
Yeah,
He could have a
like he
Mac
could
Jones
not
rise.
even a Mac Jones race. Like what was it? It was Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, which both of those quarterbacks haven't worked out. But
Bro.
leading into that draft, who's it gonna be? Like what are we gonna see? Andrew Luck, Robert Griffin. These are the two guys. They both had a good career. We thought Andrew Luck this whole time. Robert Griffin's just popped off. We can't believe it. Like we could see a similar storyline developing next year if he comes out and pops off next year.
That's what it is. It's a wall. It's ruining it. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what was going on. It's the wall. No, I completely agree.
It's just
Yeah,
waving to you guys.
yeah. I'm trying to like. There it is. That's what's blocking it. But yeah, I would have had Tyler Van Dyke as my number 5, but he'll probably be number 2 and number 3 next year. Another guy, obviously, he's not a quarterback. Olu Fashanu from Penn State would have been a top 10 pick in my opinion. Decides to go back for some reason. I kind of disagree. Get your money while you can. That's my opinion about the NFL draft. Get your money while you can. But
I mean, finish your degree is important to some of these guys, and some of the guys they have a passion for their team. They think they're gonna. I mean, they were in a good spot this year. They were competing, and so I
yep.
understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it. It's not what I would have done, but
Well, he would have gotten paid $40 million. That's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, if I'm guaranteed 40, 50, maybe like I don't know how high he'd go. I think top 10 though. Like maybe like the 8 to 10 range. He was easily the best tackle prospect.
mm-hmm.
He would have gotten 40, $45 million guaranteed. So I would have immediately been like, oh, I'm declaring, y'all have a good day. Like that's me personally, but I understand if he wants his degree. So, but now actually going to the quarterbacks at number 5, I'm gonna have Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. Hendon Hooker had a great season. Tennessee had a great season. I think there's a lot of pros and cons for him. The pros for him, he has a very quick release. His thwip is elite. His escapability, he has very good escapability, and apparently he has a very high IQ. Apparently he has like a 4.0 at Tennessee.
Oh, really?
Now I don't know what classes he's taken.
Yeah, I don't know what classes, but Tennessee's not a chump school. It's not like easy admissions. That's a top program. So the fact that he has a 4.0 is very impressive.
Yeah, and apparently his football IQ is top notch. Like his coaches rave about it. His cons, he's 25 years old. Now we make fun of Stetson Barrett with Georgia because he's 25 years old. Did you know that Stetson Barrett and Lamar Jackson are born the same year, but Lamar Jackson has won an MVP in the NFL already, and Stetson Barrett has not graduated? Yeah.
That's
So, and Stetson and Hendon Hooker's like a year younger, maybe. He might be the same age, but I'm pretty sure he's 25 years old. Another con, while he has escapability, he relies on it a little too much. He holds onto the ball way longer than he needs to. He doesn't just take the check down. And Tennessee runs a very, very unique scheme. It is not easily transferable to the NFL. So while he has a high IQ, I think it would take time for him to develop into an NFL quarterback. My prediction.
Doesn't have a lot of time being older.
Exactly. That's one problem. Is that like when you're so much older? Because if he was 21, that's 4 years of development you have. But when you're 25 entering the league, 4 years from now you're 29. You're almost 30 years old. Like you can't not be NFL ready at 25. But I think he's a day 2, day 3 pick. If he was in the 3rd rounds, I think any team would take him. His 2022 stats was 3,100 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. That's a what? 10. What is that? What ratio is that? Is that like a 14-to-1 ratio touchdown to interception?
It's almost a 3-to-1.
No, because it'd be 14-to-1. Because he threw 28 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So every 14 he had a 14-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, you're right. I was doing my math wrong.
Yeah, it's fine. It took me a second to get there, but I think he has the tools to be capable. But it's just I wouldn't draft him, me personally. If I was any team, I wouldn't draft him just because of his age.
Hey, like, what about a Tennessee, like later in keeping them in Tennessee? A Tennessee Titans 3rd-round pick. That could be a fun little.
The thing is, they already spent a 3rd last year on Malik Willis. That's the problem. Do you really want 2 years in a row spending a 3rd-round pick on a quarterback?
Who cares?
They care. They're trying to win.
Wait. Yeah, but like if you go in and he kills an interview, he goes in and he you believe he could be your guy, and you can get him in the third round.
That's true.
Why not take a swing? Like,
Yeah, that's a good point. My number four quarterback. He's I watched a couple of his games in preparation. I didn't watch the full games. I skipped through it. Tanner McKee. He is a monster. He is
yeah,
6'6", 230.
yeah,
He's like that's get like automatically he's gonna get Josh Allen comparisons. It's just how it works when you're 6'6", 230. You're gonna be compared to Josh Allen. The only thing that he has with Josh Allen is the zip. They both throw that ball with a lot of power in the short, the medium range. But what the difference is that Josh Allen has that deep range where Tanner McKee does not. He's very good in the intermediate. He's not good deep. Uh, and he runs a West Coast offense, which is what 95% of the NFL runs. So he easily
yeah. He transferred.
easily transfer right from college to NFL. A con is his accuracy dips under pressure. He actually has one of the lowest passer ratings when blitzed in all of college. So if you have a good offensive line, I would be interested. But he's also a slow processor. So when you're reading defenses, that's a QB killer. If you have a slow processor, and that's my ding on him. I think he is better than Hendon Hooker. I think he is definitely worth a late round 2, early round 3 pick. I think the Colts would be a great team for him.
Yeah, I think one of those teams that is a good team that's not going to be top. They're not going to get one of these top three guys, and you have a top round second day pick. Take a swing on him. See what you got there. Knock the boots on him and see what you can get.
Yeah, the only problem I would have with the Colts taking him is that we've seen that with a statue and Matt Ryan, he's been sacked a billion times. So I guess maybe not,
Yeah,
unless you improve your
yeah.
offensive line a lot this offseason, or maybe
Yeah, but
not the
Philip
Colts.
Rivers had success, and so did um
Jacoby Brissett.
is much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
but
had a
and
good
then
season.
who was their quarterback last year that they
Carson
traded?
Wentz.
Carson Wentz. I mean, he's kind of not. He's mobile, but he's more of a pocket passer, and he had success. As much as people knock on him, he actually had a really good season with the Colts, and so you could still see some success there. I think there's some good. I think the Colts is a good mock-up
And then
prediction.
at Stanford, their offense is abysmal. I don't put that on Tanner McKee. 3,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's throwing to nobody. Like I've been doing, I'm not gonna be honest. Wide receivers in the next class I'm doing. There is not a single Stanford wide receiver I would ever draft. Ever draft. Those guys are booty. Like
Yeah,
he's throwing to nobody. So I do
yeah.
not blame him.
Hey, listen, at Stanford, they're growing their program, and I mean they're more of an educational program. It's just period. That's what they're known for. Um, Andrew Luck struggled there.
Yeah.
He had crazy numbers, but when a quarterback that was borderline Hall of Famer coming into the league, like if he would have stayed healthy, 10 years would have been Hall of Famer. Type talent struggled at Stanford. I don't put that on Tanner McKee when he struggles as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Tanner McKee's size. Obviously, 6'6" is very interesting. I like that he can go in a West Coast offense, which now not every team runs a strict West Coast, but almost every offense is based off the West Coast offense. The 49ers in the 90s completely changed the NFL. So,
Yeah, 100%.
but I think the Colts, maybe the Washington Commanders as well. If Sam Howell isn't the guy, I think that's another team that's interesting. They have a pretty good offensive line. Uh, then moving on to number 3 is going to be Will Levis. Obviously, Will Levis. Now, if you go to college football TikTok or Twitter, God, they hate Will Levis, dude. God, like I understand the problems with him, but guys, like he again, another guy not really thrown to an NFL talent. I think there are guys that will get
Smaller
drafted.
school.
Yeah, it's a smaller school. It's not a football school. It's a basketball school. Kentucky's a
Okay.
basketball school. Um, but I mean, 2,400 yards, 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. What you really want in a quarterback Will Levis has, except for stats. Like he has the footwork, he has the arm, he has the processing, he can read defenses, he has enough agile ability to run for a first down. he just has no patience. Like he will like just either take quick dump offs or he'll sit in the pocket for too long waiting for that route development. He just has no patience whatsoever. He runs out of the pocket too much, honestly, because he doesn't. I don't think they have a good offensive line. I haven't really done offensive line scouting for their team, so I can't say anything about their offensive line. But I think there's something behind the scenes where he doesn't trust his offensive line. Like it's what it's got to be. There's no way that this guy's running out of this many clean pockets, and his sideline accuracy, it's abysmal. Like I'll be honest, his sideline accuracy does dip, and a little lower than I would want. But you can always teach accuracy. Like I'm gonna be honest here, you can teach accuracy. Enough throws against an NFL defense, you learn certain things that you can do better.
And you can teach patience as well.
Yep. So I think he has everything that you would want in a quarterback. Again, I wouldn't draft him. Yeah, I wouldn't draft him. Again, I don't. If I am a team that's trying to rebuild, I'm taking for sure picks.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a for sure tackle or for sure corner or for sure safety, I'm not doing none of this. Oh, we're gonna develop him for 3 years. I'm a head coach. I don't got 3 years with some developmental quarterback.
Yeah. But yeah, like a later round pick, like the Ravens did when they had a later round pick at 32, they take Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Do a project. They already have a quarterback. If he's a complete flop, hey, we already have a quarterback. It doesn't matter.
And I do think he's going in the first round. I do think he's gonna be from the 12 to 20. That's his range. He's 12 to 20 is his range.
I think he might even slip in a little bit lower than that, just because, like you said, he doesn't have the stats and I think publicity of the fact that he has very negative press towards him, and the fact of a lot of people think he'll be a bust, I think is going to scare some teams off. But
well, the thing is,
especially
Justin,
in that 12, 13, 14 pick, like you're talking, Justin Fields was taken 11.
mm-hmm.
Like you can't compare that's the type of quarterback level that you're talking at that point. And that's just not where he's at right now. He's a Lamar Jackson 32nd pick. He's a second round Jimmy G project. We'll wait a few years, see what we got. Maybe throw him in year 1. We'll see.
Yeah, a team I think would be pretty interesting a team I think would be interesting for Will Levis is definitely an AFC South team. Whether it's the Titans because they have Ryan Tannehill, and he is better than I like Malik Willis. He's better than Malik Willis. Like he just is. But again, I think they need other positions more. The Colts, I think they need other positions more in the first round. The Texans are going to get a quarterback. The NFC South as well is another team. If the Saints can somehow trade up for Will Levis, that is one of the most perfect spots for me. That is my number one spot for him is the Saints. Now obviously they don't have a first round pick. They traded it for Chris Olave. Great trade. He's a pretty good. He's the best rookie wide receiver.
What would also be a sneaky little move, and I could see Steelers doing it. Steelers trade down and then go take him and then go get another first round pick. They're gonna have a high first round pick. Let's say you don't see someone that you absolutely love in this draft, picking 5th, 6th in the line. Trade down to 10th, and then get a 14th round pick, and go pick him as well.
You said the Steelers
over
Kenny Pickett. You think they move off Kenny Pickett?
I don't think he's the guy.
I mean, again, I don't either. I don't either. But they do.
I don't think they do either. I don't think they've come out and said that because they don't think that they can get a quarterback this year. I would not be shocked at all if Steelers pick a quarterback this draft.
I think they give him one more year. That's the thing. If let's say they keep Kenny Pickett and they draft a Tanner McKee. Let's just say it's Tanner McKee in the second round, the top of the second round, like a top 5 pick in the second round. You can't keep Kenny Pickett. No matter what, he's gone. So that's why I'm saying, unless
you know what you have in Kenny Pickett though. I don't think Kenny Pickett. I think he's hit his ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be what he's gonna be. It's like a Mac Jones. You know what you see, what you're gonna get. He's gonna be what he is. It's not gonna be. He's not gonna turn into Tom Brady overnight. It's not gonna develop into be this crazy quarterback. It's gonna be a game manager. Do you want a game manager like a Ryan Tannehill, or do you want to go take a swing and try to get yourself a future top 5 NFL quarterback?
Yeah, again, I don't like Pickett. They shouldn't have picked Pickett. I thought it was a bad pick. but I just don't think they
I
move
thought
off
it was
him.
a good pick at the time.
I didn't.
I just because they didn't have a quarterback. They needed a quarterback.
They had Trubisky at the time. They already signed him.
Yeah, but Trubisky's not your long-term answer. They wanted a long-term answer, and so I get it. And I'm not saying it was a good pick,
But you understand the idea behind it.
I understand the idea of it. Yeah.
Moving on to number 2. I mean, in my eyes, it's already set in stone, the first 2 picks, and the second pick, in my opinion, of the NFL draft is C.J. Stroud. I don't think he's better than Bryce Young. I don't think he is. I think he's still good, but not as good as Bryce Young. He had 3,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Should win the Heisman. Of the 4 finalists, he should be the Heisman favorite. Now, does he win it?
I think that Michigan loss really hurt him.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, what other ones? It's TCU, Max Dugan. Is it Dugan?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have what? Georgia Benson Starrett. I forgot. I can't pronounce his name. He's not winning it. And who's the other one?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think CJ does win it. I just think if you win against Michigan, you're a shoe-in for it. Losing against Michigan.
Caleb Williams. Sorry, Caleb Williams. Sorry.
I think Caleb Williams could win it.
I do. I want to change my mind. I think Caleb Williams wins it.
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be close in the votings, but I think Caleb Williams actually might win it.
Yeah. I mean, CJ Stroud's give me 2. Yeah, CJ's give me 2. So he'll at worst be 2.
Convincing loss. Like if it was a 3-point loss, 4-point loss, like close game. No, you got blown out by Michigan. Like,
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
But CJ Stroud, a pro, his ball placement, I love his accuracy, especially deep.
Okay.
I love his deep ball accuracy. His stats back up his intangibles. Unlike Will Levis and unlike Tanner McKee, who both have a lot of the intangibles you want, he has his stats. 3,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. His entire college career has been amazing so far. He has the NFL arm. He has the NFL athleticism that you're looking for. A con, he has an NFL arm, but it's not an elite NFL arm. And with a top 2 pick, you want to have everything. So he doesn't have the massive 80-yard bomb that Baker and Josh Allen do. Because I don't like Baker, but I will always say he can throw that ball deep.
He can throw that ball, yeah. But you can add a 15 to 20 yards onto your pass.
Yeah.
With workout and with, I think he can throw a 65-yard pass right now.
Which is still good. Like I can't throw 65 yards.
And if you can add, another 10 to that, that's 75. When are you going for a 70-yard pass that you really need?
Exactly. If you're going for a 70-yard pass, you lost the game already. So, and then the last con, I couldn't think of another con besides he's gonna have the OSU QB stigma. Like Justin Fields is the first OSU quarterback that I think has truly broken that stigma.
And he hasn't broken it. People still think he's a bust. There's still a lot of people that are coming out being like, well, he can't throw. He's a running back. Similar to like what they were saying with Lamar early in his career.
Which is a little racist in my opinion. I'll say it. I'll say it.
It definitely has.
No one says anything about Josh Allen. No one has ever said anything about Josh Allen. Josh Allen, his rookie season, was more of a runner than Lamar Jackson. And no one said a single thing about Josh Allen. I think race 100% plays a part into it. And I will fight anyone in the comments.
That 100% plays a part. I just don't think, Justin has better running back stats than he has quarterback stats this year.
Which is his fault.
I think that plays into it.
Yeah, that really is fault either, though. Give him the Dolphins weapons, dude. They have the exact same record. But I think he's the first quarterback truly to break and will break. I guess if he hasn't officially broken it yet, next season he will break that stigma of OSU quarterback. I think CJ Stroud, his rookie season, will break it. Like I think he's better than Justin Fields, coming out.
Coming out, definitely. I don't think he will be NFL career-wise. I think Justin Fields will go down as the better quarterback, but we'll see. It'll be fun to see. I think this is my personal thing. I think CJ Stroud is the best quarterback coming out of this class.
Over Bryce Young?
I know who you have coming up next.
Well, yeah.
It's Bryce Young.
Actually, it's Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, it's Bryce Young. I think he's over Bryce Young for the same reason Alabama quarterbacks have a worse stigmatism in my mind than Ohio State quarterbacks do. Alabama quarterbacks, besides Tua, have been complete garbage, and so it scares me once they leave that Alabama program, they struggle, and so
That is
we'll
really
see.
interesting. That everything else from Alabama is always an A+ pick, but quarterback
Yeah,
is like,
quarterback, it's a complete question.
yeah. I think Mac Jones will get a second contract. I think he's good enough to get a second contract. I mean, I think Tua's getting a contract. Do you count Jalen Hurts as Alabama? I mean, he graduated from Oklahoma, but his first 2 years were Alabama. Would you count Jalen Hurts as an Alabama quarterback more than an Oklahoma quarterback?
I count him more as Oklahoma,
Because
but
he
he
had
did
his.
play at
I mean, he went
Alabama.
he went to two natties with Alabama.
hmm But he wasn't the starter.
Yeah, he was both games. He so
Oh, was he?
so he lost the first game. He lost. Like he was a starter all throughout. The second year in a row, they were losing. Tua gets put in, they win. So he did start both national championship games, and he started the entire season. But Tua, the second natty in a row, they were down by a lot. So they put Tua in, they win. Then he lost his job. He goes to Oklahoma, becomes a Heisman finalist, and then gets drafted.
Yeah, and he's a good quarterback. I think, yeah, he's both. I mean, because he was both, and so, but I think for fully, I think you need a Ohio State, and you could make the same argument with Justin Fields. Justin Fields wasn't Ohio State all the way through.
It was Georgia, right?
Yep, he was Georgia at first, and then he transferred to Ohio State. I think you truly need 100% Ohio product to truly come out to break that stigmatism,
Which
or
is CJ.
100% Alabama.
Yeah, which is CJ. But yeah, I think CJ, he's still a top two pick. Even if he's not number one, he's still gonna go number two. And going in my eyes, number one, it is Bryce Young to the Texans. Like I think Bryce Young should literally buy a house in Texas right now. I think it's already guaranteed he's gonna be a Texan. 3,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not a great statistical season, to be honest with you. Like not
Not
for an
amazing,
Ala,
but
for an Ala, for Bryce Young at Alabama, not a great season, but not a bad
no,
season
it wasn't.
either.
Yeah, his height scares me a little bit.
Yep,
Um,
that is my only con for Bryce Young.
yeah,
That is the only problem I have with Bryce Young.
sorry to steal your con there, but that's the one thing that really scares me about him.
Yep,
When you're under 6 foot, you really need to be a dynamic runner, and he's not dynamic. He's
good
good,
enough.
but he's not
He's good
he's
enough.
good enough. He's not dynamic, and so it scares me a little bit. But I still think he will be number one. I just think CG Stroud is the better quarterback. I don't think
hmm
he is going number one. I think I think definitely 100% the person that's going to be going number one is Bryce Young.
Yeah, and pros, he evades pressure well. Now, is that his offensive line just being so elite? He like only one rusher at a time ever goes at him. That's up for debate. He doesn't have the best legs, but he can extend plays. I think there's a very big difference in extending plays and being a great runner. Patrick Mahomes is amazing at extending plays. I don't think he's that good of a runner though. But when he's trying to extend plays, he is the best in the league, number one. But like running the ball, he's not number one. So I think Bryson is in that niche or niche, whatever how you pronounce it, niche of
It's pronounced both ways.
whatever. I've heard it both ways. I think he is in that. Yeah, he's in that little form of he can extend plays amazingly, but do not ask him to run. He'll be just average. On my last pro, massive arm, great deep ball accuracy. That is A+. What you want in a number one pick is, can you throw the ball 75 yards and can you do it accurately? Joe Burrow could do it. Baker at Oklahoma could do it. Now, was his wide receivers wide open? Yes, they were. But so I really I've been on a Baker Mayfield hate train the last year. Anyway, Justin Herbert can do it. Bryce Young is another top five, obviously could be a number one pick, who has the massive NFL arm to match the deep ball.
hmm Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna always throw a little Baker comment into whatever I'm evaluating quarterbacks. I got keep digging that hole of God,
Well, he was
please.
the number one overall quarterback taken in that draft. I think you got to give him a little crap every once in a while.
Yeah, when your wide receivers are wide open at Oklahoma, it's pretty easy to throw the ball accurately. Anyway, one of our next topic is to be about Deshaun Watson. I'm not gonna make this a long topic. I don't want to talk about him too long, because we talked about him a lot about last week. Rusty, exactly what I thought was gonna happen, but worse.
Yeah.
Just bad, just bad.
Yeah.
Like it was a bad week. Like you, I don't know if you said this during the show or before the show. He's scared to get hit. Whenever there was any blitz, he threw the ball right into the ground every time. Quincy Carrier on YouTube. Quincy Carrier is one of the biggest Browns YouTubers. He went on Twitter, released a bunch of film, and said, "Look at this. Every time he's blitzed is when he threw it into the ground." Against the Bengals, you're gonna get blitzed a lot. They're one of the best blitzing teams in the league. They always throw 5, 6 rushers. That's why I swapped. That's why I swapped the pick.
Yeah, I think he's just rusty. I don't think I'm not. It's a horrible trick. He's a bust. He's washed. I'm not going that extreme like I've seen a lot of people could go this week. I'm not saying you're doing that either, but it's it's one of those things of he's not ready. He's got some rust to him. He's scared. You know, regardless of how we feel about him, we've already discussed that. We don't need to continue going into that.
Yeah,
It's
it's over now. It's over. Now,
it's over. Yeah.
whether we agree or disagree with what happened, it's over now.
Yeah,
He's back on the
it's
field.
100%. We're moving forward. We're just talking about the quarterback now. There's going to be some mental trauma there.
Hmm.
There's going to be some mental stuff that he had to deal with. There's going to be some stuff he's going to have to struggle through. And so he's seeing ghosts. He 100% is. He's scared. He's scared to be on stage. I think it's going to take him a few weeks, but I think he'll get back to form. But I
It's
don't
it's
think
gonna it's gonna take one massive hit for him to be like, all right, I'm good now. He's gonna be like, that's the worst I'm gonna get hit ever in this game. I'm good now. I think Trey Hendrickson could be the guy to deliver that hit.
yeah,
But moving on again, I told you I don't want to be on this topic too long. We've
I think
talked.
we covered the.
It's we're done for the season now. The only time we'll talk about Deshaun Watson now is at the end of the season, doing a last 6 weeks. How did he do? Did the rust go away?
Mhm.
But there's not much more to talk about. Next up is the MVP award race, and why is it so QB heavy? Aaron, why do you think the MVP award race is so QB heavy?
Um, a wide receiver's never won it. Um, a defensive player has to break a record to win it. Um, and a running back has to run for over 2,000 yards to be considered for it. So when you have those statisticals, you're having to basically be the best that's ever had a single season
Well,
outside
Cooper
of
Kupp didn't even
quarterback.
get it. That's
Yeah.
insane. Cooper Kupp didn't even get it last year.
Well, when Megatron never won an MVP, it's
That's a
over.
good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point.
When our Jerry Rice, if Jerry Rice or Megatron never won an MVP, no, I don't care who comes into this league, no one's gonna ever be better than them. I don't care. It's already set in my
Ca-
mind. I watched the Patriots.
career wise, I think a single season there will be someone who
Oh, a
breaks those
single
records.
season.
But
Yeah, but
career wise, I'm with you. I'm with you.
full
Career wise,
talent,
yep,
full
I'm with you.
talent. I think Megatron could have been better than Jerry
Yep, 100%.
if he could have stayed healthy and played. But Jerry's still number one,
Yep.
and the fact that neither one of them ever won it, then and it's hard because if a wide receiver is having a 2,000 yard season and 30 touchdowns, 20 touchdowns, whatever it's going to be, that's going to put him in the MVP conversation, then that quarterback's having 50 and a 5,000 yard season. So that quarterback, like,
Well, plus if that if that wide receiver doesn't win it, yeah, if that wide receiver doesn't win it, no wide receiver will ever win it.
no. And here's the thing: this is what's going to have to happen if it's ever going to happen. A wide receiver is going to have to go for 2,500 yards. He's going to have 25 touchdowns, and he's going to have two quarterbacks throwing him the ball that season. It's going to have a quarterback go down with an injury, and it's going to have to be a record-breaking season. Maybe not 2,500. That would break the single season record by a lot.
I'm just gonna
But it's going to be
2,200 divided by 17.
yeah.
That is 130 yards a game. Tyreek Hill is the only guy right now averaging over 100, like 120 ish. He's the only receiver.
Yeah, and I don't think he could do it.
Nope.
I
Yeah,
think
no.
that's just
It's too late in
and
his
that's
career.
I think that's where it becomes a QB heavy race when you talk about MVP, just because it's so hard for a offensive player to just the way the game runs, even running back, if he's running for or receiving for 5,000 or 5,000 500 yards in a season and running for 1,500, the quarterback's going to get credit for those 500 yards, and so it automatically ends up electing him. Why do you think it's been quarterback heavy? Any other points besides what we've already talked about?
I mean, I think that there are like so when a big play happens and they post it on Twitter, they say, "Whoa, look at this massive play." They always say, "Tua launches the ball deep to Tyreek Hill, touchdown."
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill did most of that work, bro. Like, I'm not trying to be mean to Tua. I'm not trying to be a Tua hater. Aaron Rodgers and Christian Watson. Christian Watson is the one doing most of the work. Any quarterback to wide receiver, sure, they threw it 50 yards. Again, any backup in the NFL can throw 50 yards. But if Tyreek goes for 50 more yards after the catch, why did you put Tua's name in there? Because he's the one who threw the ball. So I think that is, they're the ones that they're mic'd up every game. They're always mic'd up. They're the ones that you hear the most about in the draft. They're the ones that go the most in the Heisman trophies. It's just from the bottom up. It has to be a complete change to why the quarterbacks are so favored.
And that's why I think you should create a second award. I think it should no longer be an MVP award. I think it should be who's the best quarterback, because having an MVP every single year being a quarterback, it gets boring. It does.
Well, it already is boring. It already is.
Yeah.
But the fact that both the Heisman Trophy and the MVP, because it's the first year in a while there's not been a defensive player. Like Will Anderson, the last two Heismans has had voting. It's only quarterbacks now, and those quarterbacks don't deserve to be in that Heisman Trophy running. Blake Corum, Bijan Robinson, Will Anderson, those three deserve more voting, and they should be in the conversation for Heisman. But they put Max Duggan and Stetson Barrett.
It's optics.
Yep.
People know the name.
Exactly.
It's going to be a QB driven league. QBs sell money. QBs are the face. QBs make the most money. I'm not mad at it, just because like what we talked about, it kind of the way the game works. Quarterback's gonna run your offense. It's gonna run the team. He's gonna be the most important player, and so by default he's gonna most likely become the most valuable player in it. I think you should create a separate award for like the best non QB MVP. And then you would have a cool conversation of like, oh, is a running back, wide receiver, defensive player going to win it this year? And it wouldn't automatically be just a quarterback race.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pick on Tua. He's been picked on enough. Tua shouldn't be in the conversation. He shouldn't. Like, he was not like this until Tyreek Hill came to the Dolphins. It should be.
No, he wasn't not to the level that. No, but here's the thing. I don't think Tyreek Hill should be in the MVP conversation.
You don't?
I don't. Not this year. I think in years past he could have maybe mentioned it. I personally still believe you have to be having a record-breaking season to be considered to be, and unless no one else is doing anything. There's been years that it's just been dud seasons where it's just statistically not like disappointing, but just disappointing, where a quarterback that threw for 4,400 yards and 25 touchdowns won it, just because it was just a dud of a season.
Yeah.
But for it to be like this year, Patrick Mahomes is on pace for 6,000 yards. Joe Burrow is having the year that we already talked about. These quarterbacks, for you to statistically beat one of those guys out, like you're talking about, even if he had 2,000 yards, if Patrick Mahomes throws for 6,000, which he probably won't, he'll probably throw for a little less than that.
I think he's actually on pace for like 58. I think he's the actual number.
Yeah.
I just rounded up.
Yeah, rounded up, but whatever. Let's just say that's a good rounded up number. Let's say that's 4,000 yards more.
Yeah.
That it's hard to really ever consider a wide receiver or running back. So I'm not mad at it. It's just one of those things. It's like, how can we even compare when he's doing it the way? Or like, how about a kicker? What if a kicker kicks 60 field goals in a season?
Well, Justin Tucker last year, like there's a very interesting conversation I heard from another podcast. They said the NFL top 100, you either have 3 kickers on that list or you have no kickers on that list. Because pure skill at their position, Justin Tucker is a top 5 player in the NFL.
Yep.
But if you don't put him in the top 5 of the NFL, you can't have him on the list at all. Because he's not better NFL-wise than 100 guys. but at their position, he's a top 5. Like in the league, he's a top 5
I think
player
you
at
gotta
his.
separate
That's
the
the
position.
problem.
Yeah,
So like if you don't have Justin Tucker at number 5, you don't have him in the top 100 at all. But once you put him at number 5, then you put Younghoe Koo in the conversation in the top 100. You put Daniel Carlson, Graham Gano. Like then you start a whole conversation of, well, these kickers do so much for their team. So it's very interesting in my opinion, the MVP award race, because it does factor into legacy.
it does, and it's one of those things that I think you would have to, if you were going to make it a competition again outside of quarterback, you would have to look at it just like they were talking about. Of okay, we're going to take it and not view total yards. We're just going to, okay, what did you truly mean to your position?
Yeah.
And then take it from there. Did Tyreek Hill matter more to the wide receiver position than Patrick Mahomes meant to the quarterback position? Like, was Tyreek Hill so crazy at the wide receiver position where he was a 10 and Patrick Mahomes was a 9.5 at the quarterback position that we can put Tyreek Hill above Patrick Mahomes? But it's going to be, I don't think that's going to happen. And it's just one of those things that ultimately it's it is what it is.
Yeah, there's not much that we can do, and that anyone can really do. It really does come up to the voters all coming together and saying, "Hey guys, let's revamp how we do this because it's getting a little stale."
Yeah.
Which isn't.
I think there'll be some revamps here in the next few years, but it's hard. Like because what we just talked about, it's hard. How do we revamp it? But
Yeah, a lot smarter people than us figure that out.
yeah.
We just react to it. That's our job, is to react to it.
Mhm.
Final topic of the day is an interesting one for your division. Is Aaron Rodgers done in Green Bay and or the NFL after the 2022 to 2023 season? I'm going to say we don't really know.
I don't think he's done with his career. I don't know. I really don't know at this point if he's done with Green Bay. I think he's very tired of Green Bay.
Maybe that's the best word for it. He's just tired of Green
Yeah,
Bay.
he's tired of Green Bay. He's tired of not winning. It's not his fault that they're losing in a lot of these positions. I mean, he's not the reason they're winning, and he's not obviously pushing them to the level to get to these Super Bowls. But I think he's tired of it. So I would be less surprised. It's just one of those things. I think he will come back. I could see him in a different jersey now that Jimmy G's hurt and questionable for next season. We already talked about it last week. Our two picks for the Jets, if we were going to go for quarterbacks, was Jimmy G if we were going for veterans, and then taking a big swing for Aaron Rodgers.
That
I
was
think
your pick. That was your
that was
pick.
my pick. That
I
was my pick, and
said I
still think
said
it's
no.
I still think it's a solid choice for. I think you can get him for a little bit less off a losing season in Green Bay, a not so great statistical season, an injured season. He's not a young quarterback. I don't think you're going to have to trade the farm for him anymore, like
Wait,
you
and he's
did
not.
last year.
He's no longer the two-time reigning MVP either.
No,
Well,
I
I
think
guess
you
he's
can get
what?
him for
He's won 3 or 4 MVPs now, but like the two
yeah,
consecutive two-time
two
MVP.
consecutive. I think you would give him first round, 2 or 3, and then top skill position player, and they would take it, and then add in a quarterback, either whoever, which one of the two that you have in New York, um, to the Packers, and they would take that trade. Um, and that would instantly make the Jets a Super Bowl contender. So I think it's worth for them to look at. Um, I don't think his era is over, but I think it's definitely his prime has passed him,
Yep.
and I think it's starting to wind down for sure. I think he's definitely in the 2 minute warning of his career towards the end of the fourth quarter. We'll see if he can pop off another Super Bowl or another run at it before he hangs him up.
Yeah, I'm. Last week I said I think he retires at the end of the season. I'm tentative to change that now. I think he's definitely done in Green Bay. I don't think there's a chance he comes back next season. I will stick on that statement until I hear some kind of reports of like, oh, they want to really work towards fixing this offense for next year. If I don't hear a report of that, he's done in Green Bay.
Yeah,
Does that mean
it's
does it,
hard to know. It's hard to know what's happening behind closed doors in Green Bay. Um, I don't think he dislikes his head coach.
no, I think he loves Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think he dislikes his head coach. I don't think he dislikes a lot of the locker room. I think his main issue is that he cannot go walk up to an owner and say, "I need this player,
Yep.
I need that player."
And Gutekunst has already shown that he doesn't
Yeah.
care. Gutekunst already shows that I don't listen to Aaron. Aaron listens to me, and you can't have that in a GM.
No. And so I think I could definitely see him remaining in Green Bay, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was traded or leased.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
I've been
I
saying
think
it.
that would be a real. If you don't win a Super Bowl, though, you already live in Tom Brady's shadow.
That's
And
good.
that'd be really tough.
San
That'd
Fran.
be really tough. Yeah,
I mean,
that could be. Yeah,
there's
there's
a report that Jimmy
Tom Brady's
G.
going there, though.
I think Tom Brady's done. I think a lot of. Yeah, I mean, I don't care if he wants to come back. If I'm the 49ers and if you had a decision, if you're the 49ers, you have Tom Brady, a free agent, or Aaron Rodgers, you trade a first round pick and 2 second-round picks. And Trey Lance. Again, I have Trey Lance with that as well.
Yeah.
I would do Aaron Rodgers. Because again, Aaron's contract is technically 1-year deals that they both agree to keep renewing. That's how it works with his deal. It's 4 1-year deals.
I would bring in Tom Brady for an interview, secretly, obviously not widely known, not whatever. I'd bring him in for an interview and do a full workout, see if he can still whip that ball, see what he can do. Because like we just said, if he's a free agent, you're not having to give up picks for him. You're not having to give up players for him. If he can still play 70% of Tom, that's still a scary player. That's still a scary thing.
In a very run heavy team.
In a very run heavy team. Hey Tom, throw for 20 passes a game for 20 yards. I'm gonna 100% do that next year.
Because that's what Jimmy G's doing, and they're winning.
Yeah, and so I think Aaron Rodgers definitely he looks at New York. He looks at San Fran, and one of the other teams that pops up here that's gonna need a quarterback that's gonna be Super Bowl.
Denver Broncos.
Yeah, but they're not gonna move off Russ.
Can you imagine Aaron would have gone to Denver?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how bad his legacy would have gotten hit with this current team?
But it wouldn't have been the coach.
No, it would have been Nathaniel Hackett. It would have been Nathaniel Hackett.
Was it still Nathaniel Hackett?
So, Aaron, multiple interviews. Yeah. So both Aaron and Russ wanted Nathaniel Hackett. So when the Broncos hired him, that's why they were both so connected. Can you imagine how badly Aaron Rodgers' legacy would have gotten hit with this season?
I don't think it would have been as bad for Aaron as it has been Russ, just because I think our Aaron has had a better season than Russ has, with similar talent. And with Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron already having a relationship, I think there definitely would have already been some chemistry there. But no, I think it definitely would have taken quite a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things of like Joe Montana to the Kansas City Chiefs. No one remembers that. No one remembers the...
Did they make multiple playoff pushes, though?
They did. I'm just saying, when you think Joe Montana, what uniform...
Yeah, 49ers. Yeah, 49ers.
100%. And so it's one of those things that it's like, unless you pull off something like Peyton Manning did with the Denver Broncos,
or Tom Brady.
Yeah, or Tom Brady. But
I don't see Brady in a Patriots uniform anymore. I don't. I
really?
see.
I still do.
That red, man. I love the Buccaneers red.
I love the red. I know the red, but I'm saying like when I think of Tom Brady's legacy, it's gonna be as a Patriot.
Yeah.
When I think of Peyton Manning's legacy, though,
Broncos.
I start thinking of the Broncos.
Yeah. I mean, he's so embedded in that team now. If you were brand new to the NFL and you were learning about like Peyton Manning, you wouldn't even think about the Colts because he's so like in every promo he's with the Broncos. And
so removed from the Colts now with that.
Yeah, I don't know if he had a falling out with Jim Irsay or something, but like he is completely removed from the Colts.
Yeah. Well, they moved it off them for Andrew Luck.
Yeah, but I mean it wasn't that after his neck surgery though.
Yeah, and he was supposed to never be able to play again. And so the Broncos took a chance, and
Hey,
it worked out well for them.
say they won a Super Bowl.
Won 2 Super Bowls and won one. Yeah. So.
But yeah, that's all the topics we have for today. Wow, it was a long episode.
Yeah, well,
That was a very long episode. We got really that reaction to the games, man. That's like 30 minutes to get through, but it's fine. The conversations were good. So that's what matters.
sure.
Thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification to be notified when we post next. And what am I about to say? Oh, and when we go live next, I'm thinking that maybe we might do some kind of like playoff live stream. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But we gotta talk about that and figure that out. But anyway, our links are in the description below. Both of our link tree and what was yours called?
It's just a link, similar to link.
Yeah.
It's just a link.
Click the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, click our links. Follow us on everything. We'll see you guys next week. You guys have a great day. Peace.